Greetings, stranger, and welcome to today's video. Things will be a little different this time. There's no script, so I'm just going to simply tell you about some of my favorite video game music that came out this year. That means 2024. I'll say a few words about each game every time, and then we'll listen to some samples from the respective soundtracks with some accompanying footage. The second game will probably be a little bit spoilery. Late game bosses will be there, so I'll give you enough warning beforehand, and timestamps will be spoiler-friendly titled, I hope anyway. So that's about for the outline of this. We will not be listening to like the best samples of respective soundtracks, just some music that I think is really cool, and if you're interested in hearing more, then I will encourage you to look it up online or maybe play the games. That would be probably the best way to do it. Future Hatless Yaro here. I will also talk a little bit over the tracks here and there whenever I have something, a little bit of a commentary. It's not gonna be something big. It'll be just little tidbits here and there, nothing to worry about too much. I will do my best to not interrupt the experience of listening to the music, okay? Alrighty then. Let's start with the big one, and that's none other than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, just like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII may not be the best soundtrack of the year, although I would argue it probably is. It is definitely the most soundtrack of the year. And why do I say this? Well, it's simple. There is an abominable number of tracks in the entire game, and they're leveraging the tracks from the previous game, so there's just insane amount of music. And not only that, the music is good, and there's a lot of it, but they also design it and mix it so amazingly well. It's just incredible. It is basically best in slot in video game dynamic music. There is nobody that can come even close, and I got some examples to show. So basically, there is a side quest in the game that you do not have to do, but if you do decide to do it, you fight this one-on-one fight against Joker. Now, there is a nice jazzy music playing, and I suppose you are intended to beat the enemy with the limit break. Now, what I did not expect is that the music adapts to the limit break animation, and this is not a coincidence. I did not line this up. That's just what the game does. So if there's like a little tiny detail like this in a side quest that you could not do and totally miss, it's gonna make you think, what else is there? Okay, now let's take a listen. Well, hats off to you guys. Very personal. Probably not a coincidence. It's a Joker. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Well, another example of dynamic music that I noticed that really, really struck with me, and I will probably remember it for a very long time. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is an open world game, as we know, and you basically do the classic Ubisoft tower exploration. As you climb a tower, you unlock a portion of the map, you get some intel, the checkmark, checklist bullshit, all that stuff. And in Gongaga region, the music starts pretty mellow, and it's pretty chill, like world music. It's nice. Let's take a listen. I wasn't expecting bagpipes for a jungle region, which I think that's what it is, right? But it sounds nice. Very chill tune for the jungle forest and little streams of river. My favorite region in the game, probably. If it wasn't for the uneven terrain, that was kind of a pain in the butt to navigate, but you know, visually and vibes, amazing. So I was listening to this. I think it was like 20-30 minutes of this. And I was thinking, well, this is nice, but it's kind of, you know, it's pretty in the background. It's really subtle, it's really vibey and all that. Very ambient music. But then I unlocked the second tower, and the second half, or I should say, well, I guess I could say the second version kicked in, and man. I don't know where the transition is. So they play. At the moment, the second version kicking in, that's etched into my mind. I got goosebumps, I almost started crying. It's amazing. Okay, that's it. Slightly picks up the pace and you got more vocals there. So yeah, this was definitely a vibe. One of my favorite tracks in the whole game. Ooh. Okay, now let's take another look at the dynamic music. It's like the little details, because I remember there's one other thing that was really impressive to me. The gold saucer portion of the game. You get to be accompanied by one of the party members, and depending on which party member it is, their theme is infused or like fused with the gold saucer theme. And the first time I realized it, I was like, oh, wait, are you telling me there are like 6 versions of this track? And yeah, there are 6 versions of that track. And let's just take a quick look at that. So first, let's take a look at Yuffie's theme, because that's pretty recognizable from, the DLC, from Intergrade, because the entire Intergrade DLC is basically, they took that, all that jazzy stuff, and they made it her theme in Rebirth, so it's pretty recognizable. We're not now going to listen to the whole thing, just enough to know that it is indeed Gold Saucer with Yuffie's theme. When I first heard this, I was so happy, man. Because I love the Intergrade music. It's so incredible. Some of the best DLC music I've ever heard in a DLC. Like, the production quality on that is just crazy. And now for comparison, we got also Tifa's theme. It's a bit more subtle, it's just a few notes and then it goes into the gold saucer. But still, it's there. Every character gets this. So whatever your opinion is on like the storytelling that Tetsuya Nomura and Kenji Nojima are using, you know, I know it's divisive, but for me, Rebirth wouldn't be the same if the characters and the love that was put into each character, it just wouldn't be the same. The characters are just so damn good. And I feel like the remake makes them even better than the original, but, you know, I haven't played the original in a long time, so who knows. Right, that's about it. That's about that. What's next? Next up, I want to take a listen at a full boss track, because if you've played Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know that Airbuster is just so incredibly dramatic and epic, and part of the reason for that is that the music transitions from each phase into the next one so incredibly smoothly, and it just keeps pumping up the momentum and the intensity, and just is just a whole ass nut, okay? Just crazy like that. So I think I'll take an example of fighting with Roche. I think this is a pretty good one. It's a pretty unique one for a JRPG boss fight, and yeah, the storytelling is also there. So let's take a listen. There's some Gundam Thunderbolt shit. Also insane boss. Fellow fan of the photo mode. animation for the cutscene. The bass. Drops you in the second phase. Literally. I'm a huge sucker for outros. I'm a huge sucker for boss music outros, and I wish more developers got that. For example, From Software, they're already behind, but it's okay, it's okay. Okay, so the second game I want to talk about and bring up a few examples is Stellar Blade. This has been such a massive surprise for me because I was hugely skeptical with this game before it came out. I did not think it's gonna be any good. I thought it was just gonna be some bootleg Nier game from Korea that is pretty unproven studio. They only have a gacha game, which it's a whole other thing. So I really wasn't expecting a whole lot, but man, boy was I wrong. This is one of my favorite games of the entire year, and the music is a huge reason why that is the case. So this first track is the flooded commercial sector. I'm a little bit disappointed that the track name is kind of random and generic, and that doesn't really say anything, because the theme itself is actually kind of important for the game. For reasons that I will not disclose. That's for you to find out when you play the game. That it's worth finding out for yourself. But it is also the main theme in the main menu, so that's pretty cool. And one of the things about this specific track that I like is that I want to call it, it's like a new genre. I want to call it melancholy core, because it is very nostalgic and sad and melancholic. But at the same time, it has some really heavy synth sounds, so it's gonna cool and badass. You'll get what I mean. So yeah, let's take a listen. I love this track, and this area in the background is gonna be the eponymous flooded commercial sector. So let's take a listen. Sort of the things I appreciate about the game. It's not like afraid to be quiet for a bit. Like take a break, take a breather. It's good. It's good, man. Oh, by the way, the composer is Oliver Good, so you know that's good. Damn. Whew. Very powerful track. Also very cool zone because you go back here and do some side quests, and those side quests are, if you pay attention and you read the stuff, the notes and memory sticks. Yeah. So this boss was also in the demo. So this is like the least spoilery boss in imaginable, and yeah, this this music definitely is like etched into my mind because I have played the demo for, I don't know, like 8 hours, maybe even more in total, because I just kept playing this boss. I just kept playing it over and over and over and over again because I just really like the game is just, it just feels good to control, and I'm a big sucker for good controls. Now, they're not perfect, okay? They're not perfect. Platforming, it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. But as far as combat against the boss, very nice. Very nice. Let's take a listen to the boss. The boss is called Stalker. Also, playing without sound effects is pretty hard, so cut me some slack with the gameplay. So it was pretty cool. Now, other reason why Stellar Blade soundtrack is so good to me is that it has quite a bit of genres in there. You know, it's not just one note music. You get some pretty different genres represented, and you'll see that with the next track. And that's gonna be the first like proper spoilery track because it's like very near end of the game. So if you haven't played Stellar Blade, if you're waiting for the PC version and the game looks interesting to you, you're probably wanna skip this one. Even though the track is really fucking godlike, you wanna hear this and see this for the first time in the game. Trust me. Okay, if you're still here, that means that you are ready to witness the greatness. And for this time, it's a demo crawler or demo crawler, demo crawler. I don't know. Either way, it is a boss near the end of the game, up on the orbital space station. And yeah, I was not expecting a little bit of a Bloodborne Ludwig action in this game, but maybe I should have expected it. I don't know. It's very possible. Either way, let's take a listen. It's real nice. You know, I was thinking when I was hearing this track, I was like, is this a final boss? It sounds like it. It's not. By far. of the blue particle effects. The teal color. That just looks so cool. And the Moonlight Greatsword, obviously. This is not the final boss. I could not believe it. It gets better. It actually does. We're not gonna see the track that I think is the best one in the game, because that one is definitely something you should see for yourself. But yeah, the next one is interesting. So the last track I want to take a look at from Stellar Blade is one of the final bosses. It is again not the final boss, but after we got melancholy core electronic music and some heavy rock or metal-ish music, we got some opera with rock drums in it, and now we are gonna get some synth brain rot music that also is cool and badass. It's not just brain rot, but it definitely, I think you will understand what I mean when we get there. So let's enjoy a little bit of a Raven action. Got a bit of transition here too. Though Stellar Blade does not mix music nearly as much as Rebirth does. By the way, this fight on hard mode is absolutely amazing. Probably the best fight in the game. Top 3 at least. This fight without sound effects is very different. Nice mix. Nice mix into the outro, gotta say. Pretty sweet, pretty smooth. Okay. Well, I guess I bet you understand what I meant by the brain rot genre. Yeah. Anyway, so that's for Stellar Blade. I think Stellar Blade is an absolutely amazing game, and if you like action games, you absolutely, definitely, 100% should play the game. If you hate fan service, maybe you shouldn't, but I can't imagine such a person. Because even if you hate fan service, there are outfits that, you know, they minimize it quite a bit, and I'm a fan of fan service, and some of my favorite outfits are the least fan servicey ones, so that's kind of interesting how that works. But yeah, they are pretty tasteful and classy. They are capable of doing that. So if that's like your hang up, you can solve it pretty easily. Anyway, okay. So next up, I'm gonna talk about Eastern Nordics. That is a game that is easily the lowest budget of the 3 games, so we're gonna be listening to today, and you know. It is something quite a bit different, so that's why I want to bring it up. It's my personal favorite. Ys franchise, I have been a big fan of for many years now, and this is the 10th game. Well, it's not really a 10th game. There have been a lot of games, a lot of ports and remakes and all that, so... But this is the 10th game with like the numbers, so I guess Eastern Nordics. This is definitely very low budget, very niche game, action RPG, from Japan, and one of the things that keeps me coming back to the franchise is definitely the music, because every single time the soundtrack delivers. Sometimes more, sometimes a bit less. A lot of people hate Singa, who is one of the composers, and if you check the comments under some of the tracks, I find them very amusing, because... Anyway, doesn't matter. You can check it out for yourself if you want. We're gonna take a look at some examples here. So, first example, this game, Eastern Nordics, has naval battles, and you can board ships. And when you board a ship, there is a specific theme that plays, and I like chaotic, crazy, insane music that nobody should be listening to. So we're gonna take a listen at that, because there is a good example of that. Maybe that's why they hate Singa. Oh, maybe that makes sense. Yeah, okay, I could see that. It might be a bit of an acquired taste. But yeah, I'll let you be the judge, okay? So we got board and check this out. So yeah, this is pretty much my kind of shit, okay? I will hear no complaints about this. If you don't like it, that's fine, but don't try to tell me it's bad, because I disagree. I politely disagree. Unfortunately, I don't have footage for the next track for the proper zone, but I'm just gonna put something in there. It doesn't really matter that much. The most important thing is the music itself. Now, as it is a tradition in Ease, I suppose, it seems like, now that I have at least 3 games that I can name, it seems like the fire slash lava zone has to have a certain vibe to it, and every time it is absolutely dope. So this specific track that plays in East 10 is called Heat Hazard, and it actually really reminds me the most of Searing Struggle from East 3, Oath in Felghana. And if you're familiar, you'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's take a listen. Reminds me a bit of a Dynasty Warrior soundtrack. The guitar sound is, yeah, comparable. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So let's take a look at the next one. The next track plays in a sort of a limbo dimension whenever Adol is kind of whisked away, and the violin here really reminds me of Ys 8, the Iglusian Dance, specifically one of the best tracks in the entire franchise. And this track is not as good as Iglusian Dance because, I mean, that thing is way too good. But just being able to remind me of that track is enough for me to rate it pretty highly. So, yeah, let's take a listen. Let's take an ear. Track name is If I Could Go Back to Those Days. It has some funny comments underneath. And obviously I can't leave out a bass track, so let's listen to a bass track. Now, I don't remember which bass this track is from, because there's a lot of basses, and for the life of me, I can't ever remember names of any boss in any Ys game, because the names are always like super complicated and just I don't know. There are a few boss tracks that I remember from the old games. You know, Shock of the Death God. That's one you won't forget, because Oath in Felgana is hard as fuck. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so this is just a random boss from the game, and we're gonna listen to a random boss track, I guess. It's really good, though, so keep that in mind. It's called The Ultimate Pleasure in My Hands. Okay. go pretty hard on those drums, don't they? So that's about how it sounds like. You can definitely tell the sound quality, like the synths and all that, is not as high of production as Stellar Blade and FF7 Rebirth, but for my money, the charm and the sheer joy of just, forward propelling music is there. It's totally good enough. I'm gonna listen to this for a bit after now that I'm done playing the game. I will listen to more of this shit. It's good. Review of East 10 is incoming, so keep an eye out for that. Man, this boss is crazy. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the selection. I highly recommend checking all of 3 of those games in case you haven't played some of them or all of them. If not the games, then at least check the soundtracks, because there's just gonna be something you'll like for sure, and there's no chance that you wouldn't enjoy something, because all 3 games have a lot of music in there, and it's pretty eclectic. There's a lot of genres represented, so that's all you want. Now, I want to also give honorable mentions to games that I didn't list, which is like Rise of the Ronin, some good tracks in there too. Dragon's Dogma 2, also very enjoyable soundtrack, although probably not as memorable as Dragon's Dogma 1. Still amazing though. I will hear no qualms about Dragon's Dogma 2. It's good. I guess your mileage may vary depending on where you play the game, like what platform, and how good is your PC, but yeah, it's much better now, for sure. Also, there are games that I haven't played, and I'm absolutely 100% sure those soundtracks will be completely Elder God tier. One of them being Unicorn Overlord, and the other one being Metaphor Refantasio. I only played the demo, and that already told me everything I need to know. The soundtrack is going to be probably a little weird, but it's going to be, well, not, I don't want to say but. The soundtrack is going to be a little weird, and that's why it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to playing that game at some point in the future, maybe. I don't know about Wukong. I have no expectations for that game, really, although everybody seems to love it. I'm still pretty skeptical because I haven't heard anybody who I know and trust play that game. So, you know, I gotta play it for myself. But that's nowhere anytime soon, unfortunately. At least it's not in my plans. So yeah, video game music of 2024 is pretty amazing. And if you didn't know, well, now you know. Check out these games, check out the games I mentioned just now, and you will be sure to find something really pleasing to listen to. That's it for now. That's it for the day. Thanks for watching and listening, and well, I guess I'll catch you next time.